good morning from Davos. As you can see, we're here in a beautiful scenery. We have around 30 or 40 centimeters of snow. That was not expected, but it puts us in a very nice pre-Christmas feeling. I'm here together with Cristina and Camila, and we are having our annual artevie summit. What does it mean? Basically, all our artevie family members come from all over the world, from all our countries and locations, and for a couple of days we're going to have a good time. Besides having fun, we also discuss the latest trends in recruiting. Today we have a topic where we're going to discuss a bit how tech will change recruiting processes. And yeah, I hand over maybe to Camila because she made an experience she wants to share.
Sure. So recently, when I was looking for a job back then, I had this experience of an automated selection process, which there was no recruiters at all. It was just me making a video and just the selection process was automated. Personally, it made me feel kind of weird. It was a new experience for me. But talking with Christian and Cristina, where I had a completely personal and human experience, we thought it might be important to talk about this and see how technology, how digital is affecting selection processes. I don't know about in regards of processes, of feelings even, losing the human touch. How can that affect in perspective of a candidate? Also, it's a time saving for clients.
Yeah, that is a good question. Exactly. How did you feel about that, maybe?
Yeah, and also, why do they use this process? You know, the question is why a company considers a full automated process without personal interviews. What do you think would be the driver of such a company?
Well, I can maybe, one thing I know from discussions with our clients is, of course, recruiting process is time-consuming process. You know, if you receive hundreds or thousands of applications, which you have to review, you have to put them into a system, and then the interview process, you know, takes time. So of course, the core question is for them, how can technology help us to be more time efficient? But on the other hand, what Camila is raising, and I think this is very important, how is the perception of a candidate? So maybe you can, you know, share a bit more how you felt and what kind of experience it was.
Yes, for sure. And also something that, before going to that I think it's important to note is that even though you might be saving time in not putting a recruiter in to do an interview, someone has to look at that video that you made. So it's still a time consuming. At the end of the day, you need someone, you need always a person, a human behind it to just look at that video and test the personality.
Or maybe it's a computer.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe nobody looks at your video.
Exactly, it could always work. But personally, for me, it was just to make a 30-second introduction of myself, no questions raised, just talk about me, which was kind of
natural, right?
Unnatural,
so they want to see your personality, but it is such a artificial experience.
Exactly, and it was also through a video call, or not even a video call, through a computer. So I was not even looking at anybody. So it was weird. It was it was unorganic. And for a job interview, if you're looking for a job, it didn't allow me to show my complete personality or my most natural way, or to share my experiences, because there was no questions raised.
And what kind of opportunity did you have to also understand their culture? I mean, yes, they ask you to do a video, but what did they disclose and how did they present them?
Just the website. Just by the website and reading the job description and everything, that should give me at least a nice first background idea of the company.
So there was no person you could feel or, you know, hear or
nothing. Or at least in the first instance of the process. That was the first. Perhaps in the second instance, I would have met somebody, but it was also for me a decision that I realized that I said I don't want to be a part of this without anybody talking to me, or just it was so unpersonal.
And it was in which industry? In digital?
Digital industry. Digital industry. So yeah.
Another interesting point we always hear is that let's say in the digital field, I mean, the talents that our clients are looking for all have a great job, right?
Yeah.
and they can easily find a great job. So in order to engage them for a new mission, you need to proactively approach them, right? You need to sell your mission, you need to transmit your culture and all that. And in order to do so, this is a time-consuming process too, to reach out to people. So what we hear a lot is, how can we automate that? You know, because if we approach more people, the more feedbacks we're gonna have. And this is another question: is this the right way of thinking? Or what makes a difference if you really want to engage somebody?
Yeah, this is a good question. I think, as you said, someone that has already a good job might only come back to you if you present something that adds value, that understands what the person is doing, and shows, you know, a career progression. So for that, you need time to understand where the person stands, what can you offer, how can you approach this person. So again, we're coming into a more personal view, right? So yeah, automation, I think, is a great opportunity to save time. But unfortunately, we're human still. So I think it's important that they keep this connection, right?
Yeah. And I can understand, again, from a client perspective, you need to save time, you save people. But at the same time, you need human, and you want to attract the best human to your company as well. So for doing so, don't you need a human in order to see the personality? I think,
And I think one thing we hear every day is, you know, when we are getting into a conversation with a candidate, we ask, why did you respond to my message, right? And things I hear, maybe you hear too, is, because somehow it reached me. It reached me, the words, maybe your face, maybe the whatever energy you transmit. And then this is the opening door for conversation, right? And the question is, how much could automation bring or achieve this kind of quality in communication? We don't know, right? But on the other hand, I also ask, how often are you contacted by a recruiter or whatever, a headhunting firm? And they say, very often.
Especially in IT.
Especially in IT. And in most of the cases, the candidates say, in 99% I don't respond. So the question here, which we can't answer in this round, but is what makes really the difference? Is this purely quantity, which you can automate, or is it something else? Right?
Exactly.
And one more point, maybe last point before we come to end, is at the end, in an interview process, there are certain steps. And I think we learn from our candidates that they're really missing to see where they stand in the process, that there is something like transparency and forecasting what are the next steps, right? They go in a first interview, then they hear nothing for 2-3 weeks or longer. Then they keep asking, and it's a very time-consuming process. So here technology might help if you have a tool which shows you, like you track your shipment, let's say, and you know exactly when it's coming. You see a bit where you stand, and you know, you give this transparency to a candidate. Do you think this could be interesting?
I completely agree, and I think we are now living in an era where we want everything to be digital. But for me personally, I will always come back to the point that you need a human every time, in every step, even if it's a human that needs to send that automatic process. At least for me, as in a first interview, especially, which is the first interview that you have the first impression of the person and of the company. I think it's crucial to always have someone back there or behind the computer, just making you feel like you're talking to somebody. I think that's important, but as well, digital is also important. So I think we can meet halfway. The for me,
exactly.
Right. Good.
So the question is, what do you think, right?
Share us your comments, your views, and thanks for following us. Best regards from Davos. Ciao.